Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Today, the murder of Correctional Officer Andrew Lansing, Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. Officer Lansing was 62 years old. He had 24 years with the Department of Corrections. Now, he had a wife, 2 children, 3 sisters, and 3 brothers. Officer Lansing was a United States Army veteran. It's December 25th, 2024, Christmas Day. Officer Lansing, he came in to work a shift so officers who had small kids could get on home and celebrate Christmas. Now, this Ross Correctional Institution, it's up on State Route 104. It's north of Chillicothe, Ohio. Now, Officer Lansing, according to most of the resource material, was in a unlocked shack, office building, something there evidently out in the yard of the prison. There was an inmate he'd written up a couple of times. Somehow or another, that inmate got out into the yard, into this, I take it was the main exercise yard, but in any event, I don't know what the policy was in Ohio or this particular prison for inmates walking around without escort, but he got into the unlocked guard shack and he attacked Officer Lansing. Now, it was not stated what he used to beat Officer Lansing to death with. It evidently is a fairly heavy blunt object. Now, you'd like to think that the attack was monitored by video. Somebody saw it, one of the officers, somebody up in the tower. Unfortunately, in this case, an inmate alerted other correctional officers that they had an officer down. Now, they did an autopsy. Franklin County Coroner's Office said that Officer Lansing died of blunt force trauma to the head, suffered several contusions and lacerations around his face and mouth. His brain hemorrhaged from the assault. One report said that Officer Lansing was unrecognizable. The beating was so bad. Now, the inmate that did this, most of the ones that do this, they're in prison for life. This one here was doing a minimum of 8 years for felonious assault and illegally carrying a firearm. So he just bought himself a possible death sentence, which he would so richly deserve. I'm sure they won't. There'll be somebody on the jury that'll, heartstrings will be pulled and they'll forget all about Officer Lansing. And I'm sure they'll give the inmate life, no parole, maybe. Now, obviously, the suspect, he was transferred to another prison. They sent him to the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility. Now, that's a maximum security prison in Lucasville. Now, obviously, he's been charged with aggravated murder, and is usually the case. Department of Corrections in Ohio says they have an 8% vacancy rate. That sounds kind of low to me. I wonder where they pulled that number from. Now, supposedly there at the Ross Correctional, they had an 11% vacancy rate, and that sounds low as well, but that's what they said. Officers are having to work a lot of overtime. That's the shorthanded. Now, of interest, this is so typical of the government. Within a week, Officer Lansing dying in the line of duty, murdered in the line of duty. His widow got a letter that her insurance was canceled. Wow. Way to go, Ohio. You know what I think upsets me so much about doing these episodes on correctional officers is that, unlike policemen, they've got equipment, they can defend themselves. My only gripe against a lot of police departments is they keep sending one officer to handle calls that should be a two-person call. But other than that, at least the officer does have equipment to defend himself. Correctional officers, though, they just keep throwing them out there. They don't pay them anything. You get murdered, you get attacked by one or more inmates, and what are you going to do? Ridiculous. And this just continues all over the country. It's just disgraceful. It's just cannon fodder. To me, the final insult in this case was I saw one resource material that stated that Officer Lansing was selected as Officer of the Year. Now, that's pretty rough. The way you're going to get considered for Officer of the Year, you got to get beaten to death. I believe if I'd been one of the family members, I believe what I would have told the Department of Corrections probably would have been ugly. I wonder when they told his wife and family that Officer Lansing had gotten that award, I just can't imagine what they had to say. If it wasn't so sad, you'd just laugh to think that the Department of Corrections advised them of that with a straight face. And oh, by the way, we're canceling your insurance. That's just beautiful. Correction Officer Andrew Lansing. End of watch, December 25th, 2024.